Hi guys, happy Monday. Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. Today, like every single day, coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada with our daily live show. Today, we have some exciting news. If you are a Ripple XRP fan, throw your X in the chat if you're a member. If not, just throw a regular X. It's not as cool, but it's still an X. There is a new case ruling in the Supreme Court that could help Ripple win. What is it? What does it mean? We'll discuss. Also, Kraken said, screw the banks, we're opening our own. Will they be successful? There is a poll. Make sure you cast your vote. Also, we have very special guests. We have DZ joining us in about 25 minutes. We're going to talk with him. But first, we're going to introduce you to your other co-host, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, boring, and stale information and package it up in a fun and sexy way. Also, here's Sin City Crypto. We look at the price of Bitcoin has been trading sideways for almost a full week now. And this is not a lot of movement, man. You know, between what was that? When did this little flash crash happen? It was the second.
Ago.
Yeah, so 4 days ago. Just crazy that we had all this. You know, we had what we called movement, which really wasn't. We were trading in this 22,000 to 20. Actually, basically, we were trading between the 23 and 24,000, right? Right there, with $1,000 up and down channel. And now it's even less than that. Now we're trading between 22.2 and 22.5 for the last 4 days, which is a crazy amount of boringness. But you know what's not boring, David?
What?
It's your boy, Big Rob.
Wow.
I am juiced up, man. And if you are juiced up here as well, hit that like button. Let's get this party going. I did a stream last night, and I set a weekly goal out. You know what my weekly goal was?
Save your cat.
Actually, was one of my goals, yes.
I want to use another word, but I don't want to get canceled.
It's an actual feline animal, by the way. But I want to get to 300 viewers in one of our shows. You think today is the day?
Possibly. Very possible.
Well, we'll see. Club limit, 250. How about that?
289.
250.
240. Okay, 250.
So we'll open up the club when we get to 250 people. Big show today. You know, a lot going on. Start of the week, and you know, banks are closing, banks are opening at the same time. You know, you got Silvergate shutting down. You got who was it? You said KuCoin? What was it?
No, Kraken.
Kraken, one of those K1s. And we also got some new people in the chat. If you're new here, say hello, so that way we can drop an hola back at you. We have, I saw one new person, coin operator. No, you've been here before. Anyways, I lost you, but say hello so we can drop an hola back at you.
You know, I want to go over some of the important things happening in this week in the world of finance and crypto. And so we do this every Monday just so we know what lies ahead. So this is the economic calendar, compliments of TradingView. So I got this down to US, Europe, and China. So March 6th, today, balance of trade. Those will be coming out for China. Will we see? Talk about trade surpluses and whatnot. Will we see the markets react to this? The cryptocurrency markets, we know here in the US, they're not very friendly to us right now as far as crypto. But China is doing the opposite. They're actually being smart. And so will this have an effect on the crypto markets? Time will tell, but big one right here, guys. Tomorrow, Jerome Powell is testifying in front of Congress, and his hearing will include crypto. A U.S. senator confirmed. So U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty said he will discuss cryptocurrencies with Fed Chair Jerome Powell on the semi-annual monetary policy report. That's happening tomorrow. And so we know the markets are going to be waiting. So we've seen sideways action for about 3-4 days now. I think we'll continue to see it until at least tomorrow, depending on what they talk about, what questions he's asked. Jerome Powell did make comments towards the end of 2022, saying there was a need for better regulation of crypto. The hearing will also be important given the U.S. SEC series of regulatory enforcement actions on the crypto industry. So everyone is going to be waiting to see what Mr. Powell says. We got CPI numbers coming out next week, tons of jobs numbers coming out this week, and then, of course, the week after, FOMC, which can arguably be the largest one of the year. A couple important ones right here. So March 8th, you have the JOLTS report, the job opening and labor turnover. We saw the markets react pretty last time this came out, last month. Also, we have, so Jerome Powell's testimony is going to be over 2 days. And then also on the 8th, China's inflation rate year over year, but who knows if those numbers are reliable. And then March 10th, non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. Those are going to be very important as well. So expect volatility this week. Expect volatility next week with the CPI numbers, and expect volatility the following week because of FOMC, and expect volatility the following week because that is the end of the month, end of the quarter, and we know how much Bitcoin options contracts are open, how many are expiring. It's a big one.
And
so
expects volatility in the following week for the simple fact that the trend is going to follow the following week.
Thank you, Robin.
That's right.
Great enough.
Yes.
What do you think is going to have a bigger impact on the market? Do you think it's going to be Jerome Powell's testimony, or do you think it's going to be the jobs reports?
Probably the testimony. Neither one. You know what's going to have the biggest impact?
Neither one.
Yeah. You know what's going to have the biggest impact is China straight in printing over $1 trillion in the last couple months. Second largest economy, straight printing, injecting tons of capital.
Injections.
And you know where that's going to go, right?
Where?
Well, it's going to go to their own economy, but then that's going to spill over into the investment markets, speculative markets, risk on assets generally pump as well when you have injection of capital into the markets or into the system. We saw what that looked like during the 2020 run-up. And so it's timing up to be a perfect bear market rally. And watch out. Now, I do have a few new people. If you're new here, say hello so that way we can drop an hola back at you. We have Nicholas Rito. It says he just subscribed. We also got Crypto Belico, Mr. Moby D, 666. There's actually more to the D, but I'll just leave that. We also got Brad Balmert as well. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
I want to give a shout out to Dixie Flatline. We're chatting it up in Discord yesterday. Said he loves trading. I also love trading. Said he would do it as a job if he could. I also would, but I...
You sound like you're reading an internet dating website profile there. Yeah, he says he loves dating. He loves...
Let's take a look at the crypto markets, and then we have our video from Forrest.
First, I do want to say, there was a tumble not only in the markets earlier this week, but we also had another tumble.
Hold on. Let me guess. So one of two things. It's either tumbleweeds in Vegas because it was so windy, or it's our president and our chief and commander-in-chief.
It is the man who stumbles more on his feet than his words. We have here...
Giving the salute there before he boards Air Force One. Just like that, he touched down not even 4 hours ago.
That was a quick trip, but as you said, very impactful. The president also traveling.
Good thing that hand roll. Hey, is it time? Is it time that we put a escalator on there?
One of those chairs. What do they call this? The ones that automatically go up the stairs?
No, I'm telling you, you don't even. All you got to do. I've seen them at the airports. When they unload and offload luggage. It's already like a little conveyor belt. You just throw the president on there and you just
the conveyor belt.
It just takes us straight up to the airplane.
You know, his wife, Jill Biden, was asked in an interview whether anyone like in Congress or president over the age of, I think it was 70 or 75, should take a mental capacity test kind of to see if they're sharp. She's like, absolutely not. I wonder why she would say that.
Curious.
Also, just so you guys know, if our next president happens to be Republican and they also stumble on words and on their own feet, they will be made fun of.
That's right. And then we also have interesting little interview here. Quick one. So this
I've seen this on YouTube.
Farming needs to stop. That's the single biggest driver. Farming needs to stop. That's the single biggest driver of climate change.
Farming needs to stop. Okay. So
yes.
You don't understand that farming stops. See,
I don't think people understand how the world works.
Yeah.
Right?
Fire all the truck drivers. We don't need them.
It's like this electricity thing's no good. As
these semis are bad for traffic. Stopped all the farmers.
Like as he's eating like a bowl of lettuce, you know.
I think that interview goes on to say everyone needs to be vegan. Well, guess what? There's farming involved in growing almonds and stuff, right? Robin, you grow stuff in your backyard. Does it involve, using resources?
Tender love and care.
Kind of farming?
And also, an eye for vegetation.
It's a little sad. Sad. Some of the things you see and hear people say, it's like we're going backwards as a society. I get it. People don't have to agree on everything, but some things, it's like common sense. Like, what? Yeah, just inject the Windex, as Jimmy said. That was so funny when Trump came out and said, we're going to bleach.
And you see like you see all the PR behind him. Like,
yeah. It's going to be a fun next year. This year they're going to start campaigning, right? For the presidential election? Because 2024 is when we vote, and 2025 is when the new president goes in. I think they start campaigning 2023.
Yeah.
Towards like summertime, yeah. Should be fun to see Donald Trump. Hey.
He said he's running.
He is running. It's going to be fun seeing all the headlines.
Here's the thing. Well, here's my question. Will he win the Republican nomination?
That's a question. But let me ask you this question. Well, no, we're not, because we're not a politics show. We're going to move on. Let's look at the markets, and then let's get into our forest video.
All right. So taking a look at the crypto markets, we got Bitcoin coming in at 22,500. And as we said, been kind of trading this range for the last 4 days. Ethereum under 1,600, but holding $1,500 support. And then some of the biggest gainers for the day, you have Decentraland up 5.8%. Also, GMX, Optimism, Ethereum proof of work that will not die. Also here as well. And Monero, Phantom, Convex Finance round out the gainers for the...
Guys, crazy Bitcoin chart, man. What? Insane Bitcoin chart.
What happened? Dude, isn't that like weird to see like how small those candles are?
That's weird, bro. I don't think we've ever seen that, man. I mean, you have so many dojis here. Look at these dojis, right?
You think it has something to do with Silvergate?
I think so, man.
You think like...
I mean, or unless you think it's a coincidence.
Well, the red candle, you would attribute that to the Silvergate, right?
Well, this was on Thursday.
Because there was really nothing. The only like headline that broke was that.
Well, the stock market tanked too.
No, the stock market at the end of the week at the same time, it actually kind of rallied.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was slightly down that day, but it was not to the level that should happen. But maybe it took liquidity. Maybe it took some on and off ramps off and wasn't able to trade.
Yeah.
Because they shut down some features on when Silvergate closed. They had some trading.
And they're shutting down the Silvergate exchange network.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's less volume because those customers are institutional. They weren't like your retail. Retail wasn't using Silvergate's exchange, and so maybe that has something to do with it, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Maybe the whales aren't able to move large amounts of money.
Well, here, since we're on the topic, here you go. You mentioned Bybit is suspending US dollar deposits. So we're gonna see more of this, you guys. And but
here's the thing: who's using Bybit without a VPN? Because
I mean,
well, I guess you still can't ACH from a U.S. bank. I get that. So you'd have to but you can still, if you're gonna leverage trade, because that's essentially what most people are doing on Bybit, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. So if you're gonna leverage trade, you probably have a VPN anyways, right? And if you have a VPN, you would probably have a MetaMask. And if you have a MetaMask, you can onboard your cash, send it to MetaMask, and then from there, send it to, Bybit, right?
Yeah.
You just got one extra step. You just can't onboard and offboard straight from your bank account in the US. So.
But, this is a trend we're going to see. But here's the beauty of it, you guys, is crypto is global, right? It's not just dependent on the US dollar. If they can suspend US dollar transactions, we will find a way. We, as a crypto community, will find a way around these stupid things that they're doing here in the US. We got to use VPNs. If we got to open up a joint account with all of our community members in Portugal, we will. Right, Robin?
Fala português, huh?
Yeah,
that's right. I speak that Portuguese.
Bolognese. All right.
But here's the thing. Like, what we're seeing is that you got Bybit suspending onboarding and offboarding through ACH. You also have Silvergate collapsing. We have Signature Bank is really the only one kind of left standing, right? You have a fight against Federal Bank. We got a fight against what was that bank in was it Wyoming that
Custodia.
was trying? Custodia Bank would try to join the bank charter. They got denied. And there's just a really negative connotation on crypto when it comes to the banking sector. So, are we going to see a pullback on liquidity? Because right now, what happens if Signature Bank has to cease facilitating crypto transactions, right? What if the Fed cuts down on them? There's no
That's why, Robin, I think tomorrow is going to be important.
I'm just saying,
because I'm sure it's going to be brought up.
Thought experiment. What happens if Signature Bank says, "Hey, we're not facilitating any more crypto transactions, period. We're not custodying any crypto, or not helping the exchanges custody crypto." I don't know, man. I'm telling you, not good. There's only one big exchange left, or bank left. So what else we got?
We got DZ.
Is he on?
Let's bring him on. Rocco.
Let's go.
Doesn't make me feel very good. What's going on, everybody?
What up, bro? How you doing?
What up?
It is going well. Listen to y'all talk about these banks, man. I don't know if Silvergate just quit doing all of that stuff. That's a nail in the coffin almost right there.
I don't know. Is it? What do you think?
So here's the thing. Silvergate did a lot of their regulatory stuff in 2016. And so now it's probably a lot harder than it was in 2016 to get a green light. And so they're almost kind of grandfathered into this unique situation. So I just have a hard time believing someone would just not buy it outright and just use it as their own entity. To just let that disappear and not take advantage. It's like having a good real estate on a good intersection. All of a sudden, Starbucks is on one corner, Target's on another corner. You got a gas station on one. It's like, are you going to get rid of it then? No, that's the best time. That's the time to build something on it or sell it at a high price.
DZ, I think you bring up a really interesting point is, being grandfathered in, now we know all the, the OCC's talking, the Fed's talking, be careful. We see Custodia Bank being shut down, trying to get an account at the Fed. Will someone come in and buy Silvergate and because there's a void that needs to be filled in our space.
Or at least buy the shell company and keep all their licenses. Could be. Interesting, though.
If you're CZ, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
But the U.S. won't let that happen.
yeah, Binance U.S. or but there's an equivalent of an American entity that might have deep pockets and looking at the same stuff. Maybe there is something there.
Here's an old article I pulled up. So this one, Rocco, whenever you get a second, pull this up. So Signature Bank slashes crypto deposits by $10 billion. They're trying to reduce their footprint in the crypto space. This was December. So I wonder if they're going to kind of stay the course where they're trying to minimize their footprint in crypto. And now they picked up Coinbase, they picked up Circle, and they picked up Paxos as the go-to. And obviously, if you're going to have stable coins, you got to keep cash reserves in a bank. And they were using Silvergate. Now they're using Signature. So kind of curious on how that plays out.
DZ, I have a question before we move on. Like, how would you feel if I called you the chief junkie? Because obviously,
chief junkie, yeah, man. I'm not the pusher, man. I'm just the guy getting high on his own supply.
My dude. By the way, man, I want to say something, bro. I don't consider myself a super avid NFT investor. I've gotten burned plenty of times in NFTs, right? I FOMO'd into stupid projects. The one project I have made some money on is yours. It's
hey, man,
JPEG
love
Junkies,
to hear
bro.
it. Love to hear it. Yeah, we're being a little bit more careful with our announcements these days, but we still have plans. We're just not front running our activities with an announcement, because then if anything were to happen, any kind of hurdle, any kind of stumbling block, then it could be looked at as a security. I've learned that some of the stuff we did in the past, we probably weren't supposed to do. We did like airdrops based on volume. Any future airdrop, we just have to kind of do and not really announce. Or if we announce it, it's like with hints and, winks and nods, not like, hey, explicitly, all the profits are going to this thing.
You can't say it, but I will. Guys, you got to understand something, right? There's a reason people do something, right? And if these guys come out and say, we're doing an airdrop for the junkie holders, and people go out buying with the expectation of making a profit from what they're saying, they can be held liable. So just understand that. That doesn't go for JPEG junkies. That goes for everything. It's just people in the NFT space, they don't get an update every 5 minutes and like, oh my God, they wrote this. Oh my God, the project's dead. What happened? Guys, everything's going to be fine, okay?
No. Wait, I see a picture. DZ has a tan. He's out vacationing with our money. They'll get all mad.
Speaking of vacationing, you guys are taking a trip. What is it? A cruise, right? Where y'all going?
Yeah, we got the BitBoy cruise coming up. It's February 17th through the 21st. So, hey, we'll be on the open seas, 420. But yeah, it's going to be super fun. It was the Pluto Alliance cruise. We didn't get enough people. We also wanted to open it up to more people in the Bit Squad. Like, I want to join, but I've never bought an NFT. I don't know what to do. So now it's just open to everybody. We're going to have, I think Candle Mafia members are going to be out there. We'll have some junkies out there.
Cool, man.
The Bit Squad members will be out there. It's a Royal Caribbean cruise. Go to bitboycrypto.com. You'll see a button that says cruise up top. Just click on that. It'll have all the details.
Well, I'm surprised Ben didn't just buy the cruise ship.
In 2021, maybe, but no, not in 2023.
Yeah, bear market's ruining us.
Now, since you guys are going on a cruise, you're leaving your studio empty. Everyone's abandoning ship to another one. So
yeah, I heard there's going to be a savior, a hero. Some are calling them, and they might pick up the mantle here.
Yeah,
not the hero they need, but the hero they deserve.
It's the hero. No, it's the hero that Bit Squad needs and deserves. You guys are going to come out. You're going to hold down the fort. We definitely greatly appreciate it. I hope. Good thing for everybody involved.
Sin City Crypto Takeover. Sin City Takeover. We're going to be over there for a whole week.
We're excited.
We're going to be in Atlanta in your studio, going live every day. So
that's right.
All right. And I'm coming to Vegas too, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So I'm looking forward to that.
Bro, you better come to the studio this time, bro.
We'll do.
I will drag you from your hotel room down here.
We'll bring her. I'll bring her along.
My boo. All right. Let me ask you about, so Jerome Powell is testifying tomorrow and the next day. And the commission
it's just like the gospel, he's gonna hold a hand up.
Well, yeah, kind of, I guess. In front of Congress, and Bill Haggerty said they're going to be asking him about crypto. We also have the jobs report coming out this week. Do you think there's going to be a lot of volatility? Is it more going to be from what Jerome Powell says, or is it going to be based off of the jobs report and people anticipating what the Fed will do at the next FOMC meeting?
I feel like the volatility from these things have been lessening as we've been moving forward in the years. I don't know if it's more information is getting out. I don't know if it's this particular office, maybe Gensler and Co., Powell and Co., maybe they're just more apt to, release some of these figures ahead of time. But I haven't been seeing giant swings on data lately, and I feel like that was semi-normal 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know what's happening, so I don't know if we're going to see crazy volatility. I feel like it's always front ran in the 48 hours ahead of time.
Yeah, I know in the early days of the interest rate hikes, we were going from zero and essentially doing 0.75 basis point hikes each time. So we were going from a print money, buy everything and inject tons of capital into the system and, hey, give rich people money to invest in risk on assets. We went from that environment to quickly pivoting in the span of 3 or 4 months. And with each of these meetings, we went from 0 to 100 basically, or 0 to 75 basis points. And so quite dramatic. Now, the expectations are laid out. We're at this target 5% CPI number. We're heading there slowly. There is going to be rate hikes. They're pretty small in increments now, and we're echoing the same thing after every single meeting. So for that reason, we are seeing less volatility in these numbers when it comes to the charts here on crypto, also in the traditional markets. But never discount Jerome Powell saying something that everybody overreacts to, and you get a giant swing. So your boy gonna be ready. I'm gonna have the laptops open, and I'm gonna be ready for some movement.
No, that's actually a good point. 0 to 0.75 is a huge swing. 0.75 to 1.5, which is another increase of 0.75. You're looking at a doubling of your interest rates essentially versus now 4.75, and we add 0.25. What's that? Is a 5% incremental pump there. So yeah, that's a good point there.
Yeah.
DZ, I wanna talk about XRP here, and so this is the biggest news of the day.
Never hitting $589 ever.
Yeah, these are some of the crazy.
Quote me on that.
Never. Okay. All right. Someone clip a segment here. All right. Well, this is sourced from ZY Crypto. XRP lawsuit sees the biggest twist yet, as recent Supreme Court ruling supports Ripple's fair notice defense, covering the U.S. SEC's ill-conceived enforcement action against Ripple. Friday offered yet another development. In court documents, Ripple argued that the U.S. Supreme Court ruling in the Bittner versus United States case buttresses, it's an interesting word, their fair notice argument. Ripple on Friday filed a supplemental letter in the U.S. District Court supporting its motion in the ongoing lawsuit with the SEC. Ripple noted that Tuesday's verdict in the Bittner case, which restricts the government's ability to impose penalties on American taxpayers who do not report foreign bank accounts, stressed that the SEC failed to provide, quote, fair notice prior to bringing its enforcement action. The Supreme Court stated, quote, a fair warning should be given to the world in language that the common world will understand of what the law intends to do if a certain line is passed. Now, when Ripple filed its intent to submit a fair notice defense, the SEC launched a series of frantic filings to try and stop the company. The court, however, later permitted Ripple to explain its fair notice defense. Robin, I'm going to ask you first.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this helps Ripple, yes?
Yes.
Is this a nail in the coffin for the SEC?
Well, here's the thing. This isn't the first time we've heard about this. This has actually been one of the ongoing narratives. I just haven't heard about it in a while.
With the ruling from the Supreme Court, it's not just, hey, there has been a ruling, and they can argue what's the difference between that and this,
right? Yeah, no, I agree, man. I just haven't heard it in a while. I feel like it got brushed on the rug, and maybe it comes back to light. What's kind of concerning for me though, if I'm gonna jump on the other side of this argument, is that Rocker, you pull up my laptop or lay that in there. So last week we had the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, saying that he was warning the damage to crypto industry if the SEC wins the XRP lawsuit. Also stating that they were preparing to file a what's it called? Where you
injunction,
amicus curiae.
Yeah. Anyways, they're gonna fight this out.
A motion?
No, after the verdict, appeal. They're going to appeal. Yeah, sorry.
Appeal.
So they're going to have an appeal if they lost the case. On top of that, they're saying that There's going to be widespread damage if they lose. And so where I'm getting at here is that it feels like they're trying to warm people up to the fact that, hey, they might lose this thing. And if they do, watch out. Industries are going to build abroad. It's going to America's dominance in crypto is going to dwindle or fade to other countries. And they're going to, file an appeal. So I don't know, man. I was leaning more towards, most of the expert opinions coming in that XRP, Ripple Labs, were looking very favorable on their court case. And then last week, I don't know, man. I just kind of got pushed back a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, man. It sounds a little, they're a little iffy.
You sound scared, DZ. You don't look scared. What are your?
Well, that's kind of interesting. He's saying they're doing the cat on the roof theory there, and you don't know the cat on the roof theory is if say you're in a relationship and your spouse leaves for work 2 hours after they leave, the cat dies. You don't call them up and say, "Hey, the cat's dead." You don't do that. And so you don't want to just say, "Hey, XRP, they lost." You don't want to do that. So what you say is, "Hey, honey, I got bad news. The cat escaped." Then I'm going to look for it. I'm going to call you in 30 minutes. Then you call in 30 minutes and you say, I got some news. I found the cat. The cat's on the roof. It's okay though. I'm getting a ladder. Then you call again. The cat jumped. I'm sorry. I'm rushing it to the vet right now. They're at work, but they're like, they're along on this journey. And then eventually, they tried everything. We had to put the cat down. They're going to be distraught, but it's not nearly as bad as saying, the cat died.
Nah,
so
bro.
Maybe we don't want to say XRP is going to lose. Maybe there is a little something
until she goes
primed.
Until she goes to the vet and the doctor's like, yo, the cat ate a massive amount of weed brownies. This is definitely the cause of death.
Yeah, there's 37 Adderall in the cat's stomach. I don't know.
I'd be like, hey, babe, the cat died.
It's like, I don't know what that cat was doing on the roof, but
Easy, I will never leave my cat with you.
All right. I'm a dog guy now, apparently. Or something. I don't know.
Italian cats are very majestic creatures.
Here's my thing with the XRP case, though. Is like I think it's a good quiver in their bow. Sure, they can point at this, previous Supreme Court case. Yeah, it's a sharpened quiver, but there's always like a back and a forth and another shield and another quiver and another bow battle. And it reminds me of WWF. When I was 11 years old, talking about, oh yeah, WWF might have to lose their name to the World Wildlife Fund. It took, I think that case went from like the 80s all the way to like the 2005 or something. So like when entities have a lot of money, there's always an injunction, there's always an appeal, there's always a amicus brief, there's always some convoluted thing. Because the amount of time since December 2020, I've heard XRP case, this one thing, there's 30 days left, and then on 28 days later, something's filed. And then that's just been this entire thing. And I don't have a law degree, so I don't know what the next thing that's going to be filed. There's always another thing that's going to be filed. So I just try to stay away from any of the legalese stuff. I just know in my heart, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, I don't think it's a security. That's all I'm getting at.
It's, we did a video on this Ripple lawsuit. You guys should go check that out. It's got like 1,400 views. But nice. I think because this is essentially going to be a landmark case, right, for the world of crypto.
Yeah.
I think judges are going to be whatever. And of course, I'm not a lawyer either. I'm not a judge. Neither is Robin. But he judges people. But just kidding. So it's going to come down to, all right, we got this segment of the argument. All right, where do we go? Oh, the Supreme Court, the court above us, just ruled. And the thing is similar. So we're going to rule the same way, or it's going to have at least some sort of influence on the judge's decision-making when it comes to the fair notice defense. And at the worst case scenario, right, if we see it play out like Library did, the initial ICO, right, what did Library do? They paid a fine. But then what? The judge said secondary sales are not securities. So even if you think about the worst case scenario for Ripple, they pay a fine or a fee or whatever for their ICO if it was selling unregistered securities, and then everything else has been fine. No delistings. I think Coinbase will go in and relist. The American ones like Gemini, Kraken, those will go in and relist. What do you think, DZ, as far as, of course we're speculating here, but let's say XRP wins the case, it gets relisted. What like is there a price target you're kind of looking at, like in the immediate, like news breaks, Coinbase listing, Kraken listing, Gemini listing? Where do you see XRP's price at?
All right, so I just pulled up the price chart here. Now I'm looking at some of these April 21 levels. That was going in with Bitcoin's pump, and then they hit it was under $2, but they hit a decent amount, looking at right around $1.80. But then the November pump, when Bitcoin reared its ugly head back into the bull market again, other coins had new all-time highs. XRP, even for that year, didn't set a new all-time high. It looks like they actually had a better pump in August than they did in November. And so that level came in right around $1.25. XRP right now, 37 cents. So that's going to be close to 3.5x from now, and we'll hit those levels. That's about in line what you could see from a major top 10 coin. I would say anything on the 30-day past 250% seems a little unrealistic. Yeah. But I can see a 250% pump. So yeah, I can see it hitting $1.25-ish in the short term. Now, 2.5 years from now, Bitcoin's at its maximum value. Yeah, sure, maybe it can hit all-time highs, but it's going to be a little tough because there's a lot more XRP tokens out there.
Now, Daisy, do you think a ruling in favor of Ripple could kickstart the bull market for crypto?
It'll be a mini pump. I don't think we can really. It's not stronger than the Bitcoin halving cycle.
Okay.
And so yeah, it could be a mini pump, but it can't equal what the supply and demand shock will do when Bitcoin rewards are cut in half, and then you fast forward, another 6 months, 12 months.
Okay. We also had a super chat. So apparently, DZ, something about a reality show or something.
Reality show. I'm not
Billy
reading
said DZ, an 80s TV show and music guru too. Oh, sorry, not just crypto. Watch DZ 80s quiz TV show. Driver was David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, we're talking about Kit, of course. Kit was actually, I owned a garage, and someone came in with it was at the time a newer Mustang, and it said the Hoffman or something like that for a vanity plate. It said Hoffman. And I remember taking a picture on my shop's Facebook page and saying, just worked on David Hasselhoff's Mustang. And I was just kidding, but so many people thought it was real. Oh my God, what's he in town for? Is he filming something? So that's my David Hasselhoff car story there.
That's funny. Shout out to Crypto Billy. He was in our studio this past week.
Billy's a real one. I like Billy.
Billy's
always
the
coming
man,
in with
man.
the funny super chats, man.
I had a talk with Billy for 30 minutes, and he's a real dude, man. He's a good dude. One of the best people I've met. So
actually, I have this is Billy here at the studio.
That's right.
Came by and visited. So
Billy, we love you. All right, let's move on to some of the other biggest news. There are, the saying, if you want it done right, do it yourself. Well, Kraken is living up to that as they are launching their own bank amid regulatory headwinds. This is sourced from Yahoo Finance. U.S.-based crypto exchange Kraken is...
That was the executive suite real quick. Them four. Yeah, you guys are running it?
What?
I'm not trying to derail you. I'm sorry. You jumped to the... Are you guys the executive?
Oh, my bad. No, it was... I was like, is he talking to his people in the background? He's talking to us. So the U.S.-based crypto exchange Kraken is working on establishing its own bank despite the recent regulatory headwinds, said their chief legal officer, Marco Santori, which is also Rocco's cousin from Italy. Kraken Bank is very much on track to launch, he said. The exchange's efforts were confirmed, which added that, quote, the bank will initially be available to existing Kraken clients in the U.S. with potential international expansion into the future. And shocker, they are launching in Wyoming, which, of course, they are passing laws to be crypto-friendly, especially to minors. Daisy, is this a trend we're going to see more of? Is there a real shot that they actually they're actually successful with doing their own bank?
I would have initially just thought no, but then I saw Wyoming, and then I got a little glimmer of hope, a gleam of inspiration here. And any state's going to do it, it is going to be Wyoming. They're trying to really push forward good banking regulations. And so this could be a potential nice chance for someone to fill the gap that was Silvergate's exchange network. Now that that's down, something needs to happen. So maybe it's going to be this. Plus, I'm a big fan of Jesse Powell. I think if anyone can do it, he can.
I agree. Now, it'll be interesting to see. Now, of course, Wyoming is definitely seen as more crypto friendly, but it'll be interesting to see if the OCC comes in, if the Fed comes in, if they say anything. There was news that Binance was trying to do the same thing, but of course, if Binance tries to do it, then we know what's going to happen. All right, let's move on, and we'll get Rob's opinion here in a second. But let's move on to some Gary Gensler news and Binance.
Goldman Gary.
So,
yeah.
Speaking of Binance, they tried to hire Gary in 2018 for closer ties with U.S. regulators. Binance sought to hire Gary Gensler as an advisor before he became the chairman of the U.S. SEC, based on messages from between 2018 and 2020. One of the people who was part of that process from Binance said, "I observed that while Gensler declined advisorship, he was generous in sharing license strategies." He was generous in sharing license strategies. Why can't he be generous in sharing some real regulation and some guidance for people to build crypto here? Rob, are you surprised? Are you surprised? Like, what are your thoughts on this? And also, feel free to share your thoughts on the Kraken bank news as well.
So why did Gary Gensler choose the chair instead of Binance, right? Because I feel like there would have been more money there, right?
Way more money.
Yeah.
Okay. I have been saying, and you bring a point, and I'm going to interrupt you because I'll forget if I don't. I've always asked the question, Gary Gensler is not an idiot. He's not stupid. He didn't get to where he was because he's dumb, right? So what is it really? We know it's not investor protection. That's BS. Is it power? No, I'm being serious. Is this man power hungry?
It definitely is. Here's all you have to say, though. Leaving Goldman. So why do you leave a high-paying bank job to go teach? Do teachers make tons of money? No. It's to shape and for power. And so he already signaled he wants power more than money by choosing MIT over Goldman.
I don't know. You know what? The way I look at it is, dude had a job offer, essentially, right? Or at least had the potential of it through Binance. And somebody offered him more money, right? And who's got more money than Binance? Well, could be Goldman Sachs. And they're like, hey, man, why don't you represent the people of America and, take some backdoor cash? I'm just telling you, man. Wouldn't surprise me. Like, why would you turn down all of that Binance money and take a position where you make, what they would make, like, what, $100,000 a year or something?
Or the SEC chair?
Yeah, SEC.
$200K.
SEC chair salary.
Someone in the chat said Gary wants the
They make 73,000 per year.
The SEC chair does?
No,
no, that can't be right.
I don't know. That's what it says here.
73,000 a year for SEC chairman?
Well, they do get bonuses though.
Oh, based off of what? How much money they bring in?
Yeah, so base pay plus salary in 2015 was 200,000.
Okay. Base pay plus salary. Interesting.
Yeah, but
what is the? I want to know what the chat thinks. Right? What do you guys think? Do you guys think Gary's doing this for power? It's obviously not for money. It's not for money, because if it was for money, he would have either, like DZ said, stayed at Goldman, or he would have taken money, because I'm sure Binance wasn't the only company that offered him money to go.
Maybe
private.
Goldman had him go take that position. Maybe he didn't really leave Goldman. Maybe he's been deep mold man this whole time, So
what?
Well, we saw all the connections with Gary meeting with SBF, and the mother, and was it the father? They also had a tie to the MIT foundation, educational board. There's all these people all know each other, and they up front like, yeah, I work in a nonprofit and I only make $80K a year, or I teach and I only make $150 million a year. Yeah, while they're while their car is 3x their annual salary and their home is 100x their annual salary. So something's not adding up. There's definitely, I think, power. It has to.
Rocco, will you share that? Will you share that? So Rocco's doing some digging behind the scenes here, and Gary Gensler's net worth as of 2023 is between $41 and $119 million. That is a big gap. Where's that gap coming from? That's like saying, FTX's shortfall is between $1 and $10 billion. Well, that's a lot of freaking money.
And then just as the last piece of info here, you do have the circle here. So Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO, Gary Gensler, SEC, and then you got Glenn Ellison, professor of economics at MIT.
He's a head.
Former boss for Gary Gensler, who is also dada to Caroline as well. And so you can see the little circle there. So.
Caroline Ellison.
I like Gary Gensler picture. It just needs a different background in there.
Yeah, he needs a different suit, if you know what I'm saying.
No, the background with the line and the height and
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, the
orange jumpsuit. Yeah,
you're talking about.
We're on the same page, Rocco. We're on the same page, my friend. You know, I don't think you can point at anything else other than power. I know, like I was saying, someone in our chat said he wants the Fed chair position. I've heard he wants Treasury Secretary. And so what better way, right? You got to build up your resume, a track record, right? And part of it is, look what I did to the crypto industry, right? Look what I'm doing. All the money I brought into the government, to the SEC's gone after this. They've shut all these Ponzi schemes down, whatever, getting questions and answers from Elizabeth Warren to go in front of Congress. So it's complete BS. I think I had one more Gary Gensler, if I'm not mistaken, and I am completely mistaken because I don't. So it remains to be seen. I guess my question is, as so long as Gary Gensler is the head of the SEC, do we even have a shot at like just mass explosion, mass adoption of crypto? Robin shaking his head no. What do you think? Go ahead, Robin.
Here's the thing. He's stifling America's integration or at least America's corporate side getting into crypto, right? Now, it's not stopping the retail investor, you know, the waitress, the car mechanic, whoever it is. You want to go buy crypto, you download an app, you can get some legally. And I don't see them banning that. It might make it more difficult to get altcoins in the future, but at its core, you pretty much can buy and sell crypto. Now, where we're seeing the brakes being applied is with the banking system, is with institutions. Basically, they're just scaring the crap out of any publicly traded company to say, hey, you don't want to get into crypto because it can all be deemed a security. You can be held liable. And so for that reason, I don't see anything changing while he's in office in that regard. I mean, he won't pass the what was it? The spot Bitcoin ETF and a host of other,
which I think the hearing is either this week or next week with Grayscale.
Yeah. So
what do you think, DZ?
I think he's proven himself to be a bad faith actor. I think his golden boy didn't win, which of course I'm referring to SBF. We saw the graphic right there with Ellison and everything else. And so I think with SBF, that was kind of his Trojan horse into getting onerous regulation in, bad legislation, just bad laws all across the board. And now that whole fiasco got blown up, it set them back, but it might set back, their golden, their chosen one, their anointed one might get set back 2 years, 3 years. I think the industry wasn't set back 2-3 years, maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months. Sure, it's going to be a little bit harder for this bank to be a fiat on ramp, off ramp. But at the end of the day, I agree. You want to get crypto, you can download an app. You'll still be able to do it.
I think, yeah, you bring up a good point. Maybe he's mad that his boy didn't make it into further along Sam Bankman, and now he's going scorched earth. He's trying to burn everything down. He's all like, crypto's terrible. He's like, we're going to regulate it. Because people are in Congress are asking for some action. Elizabeth Warren is over here screaming at the top of her lungs, saying that everything is everything is a security.
She's
and
also typing at the top of her lungs as she's sending questions and answers to people who are testifying.
Oh yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, they're doing a really good job acting like she just thought of the question.
So, Mr. Gensler, it's like, but why isn't anything being done about it, right? Like, it's out there. People know. Why is Elizabeth Warren still allowed to be the chairman of the freaking largest committee in Congress? Why is she still serving that role?
Because there's more salacious headlines. Her essentially is not competed against. And we'd much rather talk about Chris Rock's reaction to Will Smith slapping him than, talk about these senators being bought by banks.
It's complete BS. We did a poll on the Kraken bank. Will Kraken be successful in launching their own bank? 62% of you said yes. 37% said no. All right, DZ, before we let you go, I want to talk a little bit about NFTs and JPEG junkies. What's the NFT market looking like? What's the sentiment? Are we does the NFT market kind of go as far as market cycles? Is it still too early? Are we in a bear market, or is there no such thing as market cycles? Is it just when a hot project comes out, people start minting? What's the deal?
We saw a hot project just hit Cardano, and I think I just checked earlier this afternoon, it's below mint, and this is supposed to be one of the hot projects of the month, the past 3 months even. And right now it's bearish. People just kind of want to get their money. They're not waking up every day $500 richer than the day before, and so now it's not the time to just splurge on JPEGs. We will hit that time again. I think it'll be closer when we hit the parabolic price action. Even Yuga Labs, all their hype, they might do something and then it's hot for 72 hours and then it kind of dies down again. So I don't know if a new project can change anything. I don't know if a new narrative shift is going to change anything. I really just, at the end of the day, it boils down to Bitcoin is low. We need Bitcoin to be high. I hate to just simplify it like that, but at the end of the day, man, Bitcoin just has all the power in this crypto market. We just tend to underestimate it when we're trying to think of these microcosms.
No, be easy. Easy, sorry.
Well, here's a quick question. What's your takeaway on the whole ordinals thing? Do you think that this is a fad, or do you think that this is kind of a kind of gimmicky? I think there's always going to be a spot for it. I think that once you have this tech, there's always going to be some kind of utility for it, or some kind of demand for it. But are we going to see a rise of this NFT Satoshi stamping metadata thing? Is it realistic for
I don't think it's sustainable long term. Part of what makes NFTs on Ethereum and other smart contracts so nice and lucrative is the potential use case is just so phenomenal. Rockstar Gaming might do something with Grand Theft Auto, and it might be my driver's license, and it might be the deed to my home, and it might be my dental records. And so I'm just deep into this ecosystem because I love the future potential use cases. Bitcoin is not so much that. It's just it's something inscribed on a Satoshi, and it doesn't really have the same capabilities that you could have on Ethereum. So to me, it's hype. It's all driven by, it's hot right now. I was telling people, so right now, the hottest thing on Bitcoin is the Yuga Labs. They have their Bitcoin ordinals. There's only going to be a few hundred of them. I think, bids are up to close to half of Bitcoin right now. What is the buying pressure for these NFTs 9 months from now? I don't know if it's going to be any. And it's not the first time we've seen NFTs on Bitcoin. Anything new, it's just new right now. So I could definitely see this just disappearing. No one's going to care about this 9 months from now. Similar to some legacy you can look at things before crypto punks, it's OG crypto kitty. It's a few people are going to know about it, but it's not going to be super hot because Steph Curry isn't rocking something to, the floor of the NBA Game 7 on the finals.
Yeah. I think, it kind of scares me is the fact that it's essentially a Satoshi and not a, compared to the Ethereum where it's a ERC 721, and those are, an NFT on its own, and Satoshi is not an NFT. It just has data attached to it. So don't intermingle that with your regular Bitcoin wallet, or it's kind of gone, right? I don't know the whole process behind it, but
DZ, I wanna ask you, right? You guys, Justin, and the NFT Alpha team, you guys went through the process, obviously, of launching an NFT project. Can you speak to our community? What are some things, maybe some red flags, or some things to look for when you want to invest in a project to kind of help people maybe sort out the scams from the solid ones? Having going through the process, I'm sure you have friends in the space that have launched projects. I'm sure I've minted a few rug pulls. And so What? Give us some advice. Give us some wisdom. Going through the process. Just share some of that with us, if you may.
Yeah, one, always separate emotion. Just don't look at the price a lot of times, because your emotion when it comes to the price will lead you astray. You end up buying the top, or you end up panic selling the bottom. So you always want to separate emotion. Another good tip is, do you like it in a vacuum? So if you find yourself, you're looking at an NFT project and you just kind of really dig the art, you fast forward 15 minutes and you've noticed, I've been looking at eyeball attributes and playing around and seeing what these laser eyes look like with this fur, or does this hat match with this shirt? And I want to see what that looks like. And, ooh, what if there's a gold skin like this? If you find yourself digging through and looking at the art and admiring it, and you're like, just, man, I really like this, that's probably a good sign. And also a good sign is, do the same thing with your friends. You might have some friends that are into NFTs or in the ecosystem. If they just kind of glance at it like, and you kind of looked at it, you're like, this is probably not a good project. But both you and your friend are like, oh my God, and you're scrolling and you're looking and you're mixing and matching pieces, and you're, oh wow, only 7 of these have a blunt in his left hand and bloodshot eyes. Oh, I want one of these 7. That's a good project. Also, it doesn't necessarily mean red flag or, it's a green light, but look for doxed team members. If they're not doxed, it's just a little bit more easy for them to just take your money and run. Also, look at their track record. What have they done in the past? And see if it just popped up out of nowhere and every influencer is talking about it. It's probably meaning they're all dumping on you. And so that's another red flag to watch out for. But the junkies, hey, we're just out there. We're just trying to have a good time. You can go to jpeg.store, look up JPEG junkies. We're probably going to put some in your wallet worth nothing based off of what we, get in March as far as sales data. So, hey, like I said, probably worth nothing, but we might put something in your wallet at the end of the month. Probably worth nothing, though.
You know what passed the test for me was Pudgy Penguins. And I was looking at that in the early days. I was like, that doesn't appeal to me. And I got that one wrong.
Yeah. You didn't get the right animal, and you missed out on generational wealth.
This is also the guy that bought an NFT because this looks like my bird and sold it for 4x.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Man, it's
yeah.
NFTs.
Well,
You
they
really
all of
never
a
know.
sudden they brought in a whole nother character and just added it to the collection. The collection went from like 20,000 to 22,000, and I'm like, yo, how the hell did you just print a bunch of NFTs? And I was like, I'm out, man.
Yeah. Everything's inflationary, even Bitcoin.
Rocco, can we pull up my laptop? You brought up jpeg.store. So I minted 3. I sold 1 for 444 ADA.
Nice.
I had to take profit on 1 because I'm like, I need to taste the NFT profits.
Yeah.
And so DZ, I'm sorry.
Profit, and then you're up a couple hundred ADA. Sounds good.
Dude, I've like what? So it minted for 60 ADA.
Yeah.
Right?
69. I want
ADA.
ADA to hit $5, and we put $1,000 in your pocket. That would make me feel really good.
That would make me feel very good as well. So here you can see, guys, jpeg.store. If you want to go and check it out, this is some of the dopest artwork, man. It's so fun. It's so unique. What I'm curious, though, you guys are working on slogans or like
catchphrases.
Catchphrases. Where can I find them? Because let's just say I click on this one,
right now it's only the first 1,000. So scroll. No, go back. And so see, this is 1,400. Keep scrolling until you see one under 1,000, and you might have to scroll for a while because they do have a catchphrase, so they're a little more highly sought.
Got it.
Let's see. Well, I mean, there's only 6,000. We're going to run into one eventually. 19 right there. 96. That's another one. Yeah, that's another one. Oh, why are my pupils so dilated? And then, this is a jpeg.store issue. Oh, look, he has dilated pupils. He's also kind of looking like he's going,
Yeah.
That's we're almost done. Me and Taco working hard on it. We almost got all 6,000 done. We're on the final
Bro,
stretch.
so okay, be honest.
All unique.
Are you using ChatGPT or something? Or you guys literally
that takes too long. That takes too long. Literally,
are you thinking of these like they're all I know they're all unique.
Bro, some of these are not like Pulitzer Prize winning. Okay, they're 6,000. All right,
that's what I'm saying. That's a lot.
You're like on 300 for the day. Yeah, you might be scraping the bottom of the proverbial creativity barrel.
Yeah, that's a lot. All right, DZ. One more thing on NFTs. We're hearing this thing with creator royalties, right? There are some places that do zero creator royalties. Some people are for it. Some people are against it. My initial thinking, and of course, I've never launched a project, so you're the expert here, is creator royalties give the team incentive to continue building, incentive to continue putting in work. Because if you're not making any money on secondary sales, you just, all right, I got 2 million in the bank. Why am I still putting all this time in, right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, with Vumio, we're launching an NFT marketplace. We definitely believe in creator royalties. It is kind of like you said, it's what the whole thing is about. We're supposed to reward an artist with the royalty that they set. Maybe they set 0.5%. Maybe they set 2%. Maybe they set 10%. They set 10%. I might look at it as like a little bit of a cash grab. Maybe I'll avoid it. But to me, if you created some artwork, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it, and you want to set a royalty for 5%, I feel like I should honor that. I want to honor that. And you know what, though? This is Web3. It's pirates, right? We're all like just floating around on the Indian Ocean trying to rob the next guy, it seems like sometimes. And so, hey, if they want to set up some system where they can do it without skirting the royalties, without rewarding the artists, I feel like, hey, that's okay, right? But I also feel if I'm making an NFT, I should be able to maybe write in the code that I can block that type of stuff. And so to me, it's all about freedom. And that means, hey, freedom for a marketplace to do what they want, freedom for a project to do what they want. But I will say with Vumio, we lean on rewarding the artists, rewarding the creators.
Yeah, because if you got a place that rewards the creators, you're going to get all the best creators there. I mean, it makes sense, right? We have a question from our community, DZ, from Sailing to Crypto. What's the best phone wallet for Cardano NFTs? Is there one you specifically like?
I have linked on the top of my Twitter, Eternal mobile wallet. That's the one I use. I like Nami on the PC though.
Me too. I like Nami. I have Eternal. It's I don't know. It's not very user friendly for me.
I feel like I'm opening up like a F-15 fighter jets HUD display.
On the Eternal one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is wrong with this? So
you got a super chat from Jimmy. He's dropped $50. He said, DZ, sniff the Play-Doh for me, please.
Oh, eat Play-Doh. So right. This is part of my Vumio hiring process. We had to see if I was a true Web3 degen. And
this
so
is way over my head here. So
now this is from an old video me and Justin did for the Claymates, and so there's like stock footage of me and Justin playing with the Play-Doh. But you know what? It's still good. 6 months later, I mean, I'm not.
Jimmy.
Well, that's $50 well spent there, Jimmy. Good job. Thank you. So.
DZ, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Before we let you go, anything you want to leave us with? Anything exciting happening coming up?
Make sure you follow me, DZ_BTC. Make sure you're following Vumio at Vumio NFT. Keep an eye out for that. There might be, we're listening to the meta of marketplaces. We've seen what works and we want to do what works. We want to make people happy. So it might be worth checking out.
Awesome. Also, we have a link to DZ's Twitter. You just click description of this video and just click it. It'll take you right to his page. Go follow DZ.
Hey, while you're there, why don't you hit that like button?
Yes. Also hit the like button. Hit the like button for DZ. Hit the like button for us. DZ, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Last time you were on the show, I was not here. My apologies for that. You deserved better.
It's always a great time. You know what? It doesn't even feel like work. It feels like play.
Oh, don't. Guys, go support
that one was
our
free,
guests.
Jimmy. That one was free.
That one was free.
I want to give him his money's worth.
Yeah. Well, we love you, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your day, brother. We will see you soon.
Hit that like.
All right. He's a cool dude, man.
Yeah. I'm excited to go down there and take over. Yeah. Doing the whole show, man.
There's rumors that there's going to be a new host for ATB when we're down there.
Is that going to be you?
Maybe. Can't ruin the surprise, bro. We also had another super chat from Lazarus Hand. Cheapest, most profitable NFTs to get into? Cheapest, most profitable NFTs to get into. Lazarus, jump in our Discord. Give me some time and I will throw some ideas out your way, okay? Also, we have Nick Valdez in the chat. Nick, Rob, give my friend Nick an hola.
So we do got a few new people here. Nick Valdez being one of them. We also have Skinny Pete, Ryan Lucasan, and then Bradley Boyoko. One new me as well. And then Lazarus Hand, also Cryptos RS Tio. And then if you're new here, say hello. If I missed you, sorry. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
All right, let's cover some other news. So
got a Force video.
We have a Force video. Let's play the Force video, but first, let's take a look at the traditional markets, because this video is on the SPX, the S&P 500, and it's on the traditional markets. And you think we're expecting volatility in the crypto market? We're going to see a crap load more in the traditional market with the jobs numbers coming out this week. And so we all know how that bleeds into our space. And so Force has done a video for us. So Robin, whenever you're ready.
Which is interesting because the weekend we were shaping up to come in with a very positive day. NASDAQ was predicted to open up over 2% on Monday today. However, it is pretty flat right now. So barely above 0.18 here in the NASDAQ, 0.24 on the S&P 500.
Everyone's waiting.
Everyone
is waiting, guys. Tomorrow and the next day, we have Jerome Powell testifying. That is what they're waiting on.
Here's our Force video. So without further ado, here you go.
All right, so why is the S&P 500 ripping upwards for the third day in a row? We're sitting up above $4,000 here. We're looking at the S&P 500 on the monthly chart. The month of March so far has crushed it, up about 3%, and it's only the 6th day of March and only the third trading day of March, third or fourth trading day of March. There's a lot going on here. The market is confused. There's a lot of variables to take into account, but we've been talking about this Q1 rally, which is thus far held up to potentially higher levels in the S&P 500. One of the things that I have been hammering home is the midterm election data. Midterm election data shows that on average, expect roughly a 15% move out of the S&P 500. November to April 30th following a midterm election. And we've got some catching up to do. We've got some room to run here if we're going to actually see that. Now, we also see historical data, which can be useful, especially in terms of directionality. So March, 63% of the time is an up month, to the tune of an average gain of 0.5%, which is a weaker month overall out of the S&P 500. Some of the stronger months are April, especially July. It's far from the weakest month. The weakest month is September. But on average, March is actually a positive month. And we're coming out of February, which is historically an average loss. And that was that was no different in February. February, we had quite a terrible month, and now we're in March, and we're moving back upwards. April, interestingly enough, is historically one of the best months. So what are these red and green lines? All I've done is gone in and I've looked at each of these months and over the last 27 or so, going back to when we started recovering out of this COVID dip, and just looked at what the accuracy of this is. If it was an up month and it was supposed to be an up month, I gave it a green. If it was a down month and it was supposed to be a down month, I gave it a green. But if it did the opposite of what we would have expected historically, then it was a red. And we saw that the accuracy of this directionally over the last 27 months or so has been 67%. If we assume that March is going to close in the green, that it'd be closer to above 70%. We also have DXY holding resistance, right? Our uptrend, we had our clearance thrust upwards. We came down, slammed through support, and now we've back tested. And it looks like we've gotten initial resistance here on the back of this downtrend line, right? The back of this uptrend line. And DXY going down is good for the S&P 500. Right? Going back to the S&P 500, just on a shorter term view, the daily here, we see something very similar, just opposite of the DXY, right? We had two trend lines. We broke through our downtrend line. Now we've back tested it, found support on, developed an uptrend that we've now held, right? This is fairly bullish. Not only that, we have, I'm going to just see if you guys can see this here, right? We have some bullish divergence that has presented itself. And now we're coming up to test some key resistance levels. It's unclear whether or not we will break through, but this is definitely a resistance zone around where we're trading at right now, $4,069. Hopefully we can break through. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some consolidation or another test of that downtrend line. But overall, the S&P 500 absolutely can go up, and it is technically speaking in an uptrend right now. We start losing that trend, then we can start getting worried. We start breaking down here, right? Breaking back into this downtrend, then we can start getting worried. But there's no reason thus far in the short term to be fighting this trend, at least in my opinion. Another thing that shows an uptrend in the S&P 500 and has been a fairly reliable bottom signal in the past is the highs minus lows. This green level here, that's the zero level. When we're above this level, that means the New York Stock Exchange, stocks on the New York Stock Exchange are more stocks are making highs, new highs, than are making new lows, right? So when this is positive, usually that's going to be beneficial or bullish for the S&P 500, right? And you can constantly see this pattern. We break downwards, right? We see a period of time where there's more new lows than new highs. And then when we cross over and break that trend, hold support on top of it and cross over into the zero level or above the zero level, that's usually indicative of a bottom. And we've seen that time and time again, that same pattern play out. And that would suggest that we may have some upside here. But people may be wondering, what about the yield curve? What about a recession? And I do think recession is very likely still on the table. We could get one of these larger crashes, but we are looking here at the U.S. 10-year bond. Now, historically, these 10-year treasuries, when the rates start crashing, right? When the rates start crashing, that means there's demand for 10-year notes, right? They're inversely related. They're very cheap right now. US 10-year notes have gotten cheaper and cheaper. They're showing higher and higher rates. Once demand comes back in for the 10-year bond, that is historically when the S&P 500 crashes. So when these are both going up, yes, it causes a yield curve inversion in most situations, but it's not until the 10-year bond actually crashes and people fly into safety, right? US 10-year is considered a risk-free asset or a risk-off asset. So when people are searching for the risk-off trade and the risk-free forms of yield, that is when people, that is when the market usually starts going down or crashing pretty hard. And we've yet to see this turnover. We could very well be coming in here and developing a lower high, which could push us further down. But we could also be in a little bit of a bull flag here and push higher up, right? And have more upside for the S&P 500 over the next few weeks, maybe even months. Right? And then the last chart I'll show here is the actual yield curve, the 10-year minus the 2-year. Usually it is not until after the yield curve has actually bottomed out and started crossing back over, right? Bottomed out and started crossing back over that you get that big drawdown in the S&P 500, right? And you'll note that we have not necessarily bottomed out yet. We've not bottomed out yet. And that would indicate that it's not until we start moving back upwards and crossing that zero level and the yield curve is uninverts that we would get this large drawdown that we'd expect. So again, we could potentially have some upside in the short term. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please, like and subscribe. Peace.
Whether you like or like macro or don't, it's very important because crypto is considered risk on assets, and until we see a decoupling, which we haven't seen yet, these things are important to keep an eye on. And it's great. We're going to have Forrest on Friday. By that time, we'll have the jobs report, the jolts. We'll have some volatility in the market. We'll ask him some questions. We'll expand on this more. Someone in the chat said March has been a bad month for crypto. You are correct. Majority of the time, March is a down year, with the largest being 25% back in 2020. Of course, that was the pandemic crash. Sorry, I apologize. I stand corrected. We saw a 32% drawdown in 2018. Looked like that was the height of the bear market in 2018. We are currently in the red in March, but April seems to be a decent month for cryptocurrency. We'll see how everything plays out. All right, I think that's it.
Is it?
We done.
We done?
Finito. Guys, go subscribe to Sistine Research, our man Forrest. He joins us every Friday, gives us a video every Monday. Just at Sistine Research on YouTube. Also, follow us on Twitter at Sin City Crypto 1. Guys, as we grow, we get more and more imposters. We will never ask you for anything. Nothing. No money, no seed phrase, no wallet, nothing. Unless you hear it from our mouths that we want something from you.
The only thing we'll ask you for is the like button.
Yes. Also, follow us on all the other places. Also, buy some merch. Also, I will be doing my stream tonight. Bitcoin and crypto fundamentals, technicals, and all the fun stuff. You get the rant and ramble from Robin. You get the technicals and the meat and potatoes with David here.
Meat and potatoes.
Come join us. Also, I will be on Frankie Candle's show. That's going to be at, I believe, at 3 p.m. or 2:45 Pacific, 5:45 Eastern Standard Time. Come watch Frankie Candles. I will be on there. And with that being said, Rocco.
And also we got Susie Gemini Wick 589 King Peasant. Hola!
Friends, family, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. You guys have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you on behalf of myself, Robin and Rocco. Peace.
Why did you turbo that?